Hey there friends, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. Today we are going to do some more sourdough because it's just what we've been doing around here over the last couple of weeks. When I get into something, I'm really into it. So let me show you the loaf I did this morning. Now you're going to be able to tell what my favorite parts are by looking at this loaf. Oh my goodness. But I had a really nice rise off of it. Started playing around with some fun scoring and I'm really happy with the crumb. I like to have some big holes, but I don't want the whole loaf filled with big holes. So I'm really happy with this so far and how this is developing, how my starter is developing. So I have the kind of next stage after the bulk rise of both the breadsticks and the focaccia already done so that we can get right into that together. But I thought I would start which recipe? I guess we'll start both of them again in 2 bowls. So it means I'm gonna need another bowl. We are going to need a 1/4 cup of bubbly active starter for both of these. So we're going to use the blue bowl for our breadsticks and my beautiful favorite Ohio stoneware bowl for the focaccia. And I have some really beautiful bubbly starter here that's just smelling amazing. So we're gonna put a 1/4 cup. I always go a little more than what is recommended or called for in the recipe. And then we're gonna feed this one again. We'll do that in a minute. And then we are going to add 1.5 cups of water for our breadsticks over here. You know what? For the sake of making this easy to follow, let's just do one recipe at a time here. 1.5 cups of cool water plus 2 tablespoons, a tablespoon of sugar, and whisk it up. I called this a Dutch whisk. It's a Danish whisk, as I was corrected in the comments, which I really appreciate it when I think I did say I wasn't sure if it was called a Dutch whisk or not, but I do not mind constructive criticism like that at all if I call something that it isn't. And we're going to add, how much flour are we gonna add into here? 3.5 cups of flour. And we're gonna give this a good mix. So this is gonna make, as you can see, a fairly dense dough. But we're gonna let this sit for the next 30 minutes. And then when that's done, we're gonna give it a little bit of a knead. We have that covered up with a damp tea towel over there. And that is a very well used Gingerbread tea towel, and I just got off of a meeting with Gingerbread to finalize the design for the Little Mountain Ranch Gingerbread collaborative tea towel. It's perfect. I cannot wait to show you. It's very Little Mountain Ranch vibes, which is just fantastic. We'll probably be able to give you a sneak peek of it in the next, I don't know, 3 weeks or so. Okay, so now we're gonna do the basic no knead focaccia recipe. So both of these recipes and all the recipes that I use or that I modify are all out of the Artisan Sourdough Made Simple. I've shared this a lot because I really do think it's one of the best sourdough books, especially for beginners, that there is out there. So we are gonna have our bubbly active starter in here. We're gonna do the same thing again with the 1.5 cups plus 2 tablespoons of our cool water. Isn't this awesome? It's a 1.5 cup measure. I don't know where we got this from. I think, let's see, what's the brand on here? Chicago Metallic is the brand, but I love having that 1.5 cup measure. We're gonna add a tablespoon of honey into this one instead of sugar like we did for the breadsticks. Nice good tablespoon, and then exactly the same thing that we did before, except for this one, once we mix it, we're gonna cover it up and leave it for 12 to 18 hours to rise. What I have always done is made my sourdough in the morning and then baked my bread in the evening. But I have recently taken to mixing up my sourdough in the evening and then making my bread in the morning, and that has been working really well. But for the sake of today's video, I am doing this in the morning so that I can show you these steps before we get into the ones that I already made from what I had rising overnight last night. We are going to need, is this the same dealio? So we need 4 cups, and I'm gonna have to go replenish my flour bin here. I keep my flour down in my main pantry, which I suppose I can bring you down with me to go and fill this up. I'll show you where our pantry's at this time of year. So our pickles, we are just not eating a ton of pickles this year, which I'm gonna have to change. We're gonna have to have pickles with every meal now, but our pickles have not really even been touched. There's a few holes on our pickle shelves, but we really haven't done a ton of pickles this year. Lots of peaches gone on the shelf over here. We have salsa gone, lots of our beef stew, lots of canned chicken gone. Tons and tons of our canned meat and our soup stock from the bottom. I do most of my canning outside of the seasonal fruit like the peaches and the jams in August, September, and October. So the goal for this pantry is to have it last us all the way until those months. So like October, really, if I can. We have lots of tomato products that are gone off these shelves, tons and tons of them. That one is just about empty up there. We use a lot of tomato products in our house. And then our store pantry, we're actually due to start filling up some of these holes that you can see in here with a Costco run in the next month or so. And we have been going through our mixes here. So these were the mixes that I made back in, I think, October. So there's muffin mixes here, pancake mix, breakfast cookie mix, and what else did we have? I thought we had some cobbler. Didn't we have cobbler? I think we did. But needless to say, we are going through especially the cookies. We really like the cookies, and of course the pancake mix down here. But this is all my flour. I did just recently do a big flour order. So we buy 10 25 kilogram bags at once. We'll grab this bag here and fill up our flour. And there we go. Right back off in here. I always get asked what temperature that we keep the pantry at. We basically keep it as cool as we possibly can. So it's extremely well insulated, even though our wood furnace is actually right outside this door. It's so well insulated that that heat doesn't penetrate in here. And then we have a vent in the ceiling that goes to outside that we keep open in the wintertime. And it is very cool in here. And this room back here, which is the original cold room in this house when we moved in, stays even cooler than out here. So it is basically perfect for storage because it's dark and cool. Okie dokie. So we need 4, and what did I say that was? 4 cups plus 2 tablespoons in there. Give this. Yeah, so this one can be a 12 to 18 hour one. And this one is going to be quite a thick, shaggy dough. So I do get my hands involved at this point, just because they sometimes do a better job of getting everything kneaded in than the whisk can do. And we're just gonna cover this up and leave that to rest as well. And now we are going to bake up our focaccia. So there is my focaccia dough here. And it has been sitting uncovered, so I didn't stretch it out or anything on here. I just dumped out the dough and kind of flattened it out just a tiny bit. And it's been sitting resting for 2 hours. So now it is nice and poofy. I did spray the bottom and the top with olive oil. So all we're gonna do here is gently spread this out. And then we're gonna do the fun part. I love doing this with focaccia. Put some holes in there. And then I have some garlic that I've peeled here. And we have our oven preheated at 425 degrees. So our little ones will just plunk in there. And we're just gonna give it a little bit more of a spray with some more olive oil and pop it in the oven. I cannot wait. And we're gonna bake that for around 20 minutes or until it is golden brown. And now we're going to do our breadsticks. Okay, these are breadsticks with buttery crumbs, and we're not using buttery crumbs. We are going to brush them with butter, and we are going to use a little bit of Monterey Jack if I have some sprinkled on the top, or maybe a little bit of mozzarella. We actually need to put a little bit of olive oil on our counter here. the thing that's wonderful about having a butcher block countertop. And we're going to stretch this out, big air bubbles in there, into a rectangle. Okay, now we're gonna cut these into breadstick size. So now we're gonna take our sticks and I'm gonna twist them so that we have some twisted breadsticks. You know, I'm gonna cut these in half. There, that's a better size. Okay, I am going to put a little bit of Italian seasoning on these ones and then twist them. Yep, it's gonna work perfectly. So my plan is to make a tomato dipping sauce for these, which I think will taste scrumptious. Now we're going to bake these at 425 after we brush them with some butter. 13 to 15 minutes. Okay, we're gonna brush these with butter. Okay, I'm just gonna set these aside until our focaccia comes out, but we'll put our dipping sauce together in the meantime. This is some of my homemade canned pizza sauce, but you could use for this recipe just a plain tomato sauce. So we're gonna put that in here. We're going to add around a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a little bit of salt, a couple squirts of olive oil, some garlic powder. I'm going to add a little bit of tomato powder. So these are tomato skins that I freeze dried in September, I think, and then just powdered them. But they make just a little bit of a stronger kind of flavor. So we're gonna add, I don't know, a teaspoon of that. And we'll mix this up and then I'll taste it and see if we need anything else, like maybe a little bit of sugar to sweeten it up a little bit. Just around a teaspoon. And now we'll heat this up. Our focaccia is just about done, so I'm going to clean off some space here, and then we'll make a little bit of olive oil and balsamic vinegar dip for the focaccia. Whoa, whoops. Before I put my flour away, I'm just going to feed. So I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water to each one. And a 1/2 cup of flour. So I am feeding my starter every day at this point because I am doing a lot of sourdough baking right now, but you don't have to do that. And if you want to take a little pause on your sourdough bread making, you can just pop it in the fridge and then reactivate it. Usually takes a day or two to get it going again, but I'm just keeping mine fed every day so it's nice and lively and active. If you have been intimidated by making sourdough bread, I would really encourage you to join our membership community. We have a Little Mountain Ranch membership community, and there are lots of bread bakers in there, including myself. And we are talking a lot about sourdough baking right now because it's kind of the season for it. So there's a link down below if you would like to join us. Look at that beauty, my friends. There. Get these mixed and set aside. And now we're going to pop our breadsticks in the oven. Do you like balsamic vinegar and olive oil with your focaccia? I love it. It's one of my favorite things. So this is the kind of balsamic vinegar that I use, and I've been using it for years and I just love it. still smoking hot. All those nice bubbles in there. That is delicious. Okay, what you want when you add your oil, I should have mentioned this before, is you want some pools of the vinegar floating in the oil. Otherwise, when you dip your bread, you're just going to get the oil because the vinegar sinks to the bottom and it's kind of hard to get it to go onto the bread once the bread's covered in oil. And then you dip your bread into those little pockets. I am going to grate up a little bit of this jalapeno Monterey Jack that I have, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top of our breadsticks just before they're finished baking. I don't want to put it on now because I don't want it to end up burning, but I think this will be delicious. There, that's probably good. Look at these, friends. They look so good. So I'm gonna have to let these cool down quite a bit and then we'll try them with our dipping sauce. I hope they're as good as I feel like they're gonna be. Look at that. Okay, let's give one a try. Perfect combination of chewy on the inside, crunchy on the outside, with the savory sauce. So good. Oh my gosh. The whole combination of all of these things is just, these are my favorite types of bread recipes, are ones that are kind of savory, like a focaccia, a bread with a sauce, like a dipping sauce or something like that. My favorite things. Over the next couple of days, I plan to transition a little bit away from the savory stuff just because I think we have enough here to last us for a bit, and move into some more sweet baking. So I'm going to make some fancy sweetbreads, some braids, just some fun stuff. So if you would like to check that out, stick around and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye everyone.